Hi, my name is Kate Emily Brinley, and I'm a global advocate and coach for people experiencing borderline personality disorder. I've founded an organisation called Each Person Counts, and we also provide advocacy for survivors and people experiencing complex PTSD, and we also provide institutional consultancy services. So the clip that I'm doing today is on bearing witness in depression and suicide for people who have borderline personality disorder. So at the start of my clips, I try to talk about my own experience and then talk about ways that I've found to ease my own suffering around that, in the hope that it might help others out there. So this is a really difficult topic, and today I woke up and I felt down, and I wondered whether it was right to do the clip while I was feeling that way. And I think it is. It's good to talk about it when we're actually feeling it. So for me, depression and suicide and bearing witness all go hand in hand, and I think as a society we need to learn how to bear witness to another's suffering and be able to sit with it, not try to fix it, not try to change it, but be with pain, be with suffering, be with distress, be with trauma, allow it to be as it is. And when we do that, powerful things happen, because we give those feelings space, we give them validation, we give them room to breathe, and then there is the chance for them to transform into something else. But I guess, what I want to talk about with my own experience is that, in years of my life, I've spent depressed and suicidal. My experience of depression and suicide is a direct result of an instance of childhood rape by a psychopath who threatened to kill me when I was 5 years old, and then growing up believing that I was to blame for that, and that I was ashamed of that, and that I shouldn't talk about it. That's been at the heart of my suffering. 80% of people with borderline personality disorder have experienced some form of childhood trauma, and just because people may not be able to tell their story doesn't mean that they haven't been traumatized. So for example, for me, it took 30 years to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, make sense of my feelings, make sense of the repressed associated memories and my body and emotional flashbacks, and understand why. And it took hundreds of hours of therapy. I was so split off. The trauma was so severe, and it shattered my heart, it shattered my soul, it shattered my mind, and I lived with that in every cell of my body for years. And I think that's something I really want to get across today, is that there's some experiences that we go through in life that we carry that with us till the day we die. It can't be turned around, it can't be changed, it can't be fixed. It becomes part of us. Particularly near-death experiences, particularly traumas in the early years of our lives. A lot of people with borderline personality disorder experience ruptures in the care or parental attachment and bond, during the early years of their life, or they experience neglect, or they experience physical abuse, or they experienced emotional abuse, or they experience sexual abuse. And particularly when this is in the early years, it affects our whole being. It affects us neurobiologically, and particularly if it's pre-verbal, as we age, we can't explain cognitive verbally why we're depressed, which makes us more depressed. And it takes a lot of therapy and introspection to understand why we feel the way that we do. So in 80% of up to 80%, research has shown, of people with borderline have trauma. They may not have it stored like a movie, but they may have sensory fragments of trauma. It could be multiple traumas, it could be little traumas built up, it could be one-off big ones. There's a whole range of ways that people experience distress and dissociation and depression, and it's very widespread, and 1 in 10 people with borderline personality disorder actually kill themselves because their suffering and their psychic pain is unbearable for them. They take their own lives, and I hope that we can change that statistic together and bear witness to other people's pain, face other people in their pain, sit with other people in their pain, listen to other people's pain, what they're going through, allow it to be. And I think that takes a great skill, and it takes people that have actually been able to sit with their own pain and face their own pain and look at their own pain and be honest with their own pain. And when we do that in ourselves, we're comfortable with that in the other. We don't try to push it away, we don't try to block it, we don't try to fix it or change it. We can sit with extreme suffering and sit with it. And I remember a person for me who bore witness to my suffering was I rang up Lifeline once, and I was hysterical, and I'd been drinking, and I was bawling my eyes out, and I was just like the little 5-year-old girl. I was hysterical. And this lovely man answered the call, and he just went into grandfather mode, and he just listened, and he just gave soothing answers and soothing responses, and he just allowed me to express my grief. And it was an amazing experience for me because I just felt safe to release that grief. And he was just a volunteer on a crisis, Lifeline. And so when people give us that gift, it's so powerful. It heals something in us, and it lets us see a part of ourselves, the strength that we have, to survive what we have, the acknowledgement and the validation and the you're not alone in this, and I see you, I bear witness to this. And so in this clip, I'd like just to get that message out there that people with borderline personality disorder, survivors of childhood sexual abuse, people with complex PTSD are often in the depths of hell, in suffering, in pain that can't be fixed, that will be carried, a part of it, with them until they die. And what we can do as family, friends, therapists, coach, doctors, siblings, support workers in their lives, and we can give it to ourselves as sufferers, is to bear witness, be with the suffering, allow it to be as it is, and see what happens after that. Thank you for watching, and if you feel like you know anyone who may benefit from watching this clip, please forward them a link. My inspiration for this clip came from a woman called Megan Devine, and she has a website called Refuge in Grief. So I'm going to put a link to her work and a talk that she did, which I just watched then, which has been inspiration for this clip. So if you want to check that out, check out the link. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.